Hello there, everybody. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 29th. Hey, we're going to talk fishing on Guntersville, Weiss Lake, and Neely Henry. I'm going to give you the Logan Martin and Lay Lake information. Then, of course, we got Gentry Gordy down there. But Tom and Lee will be right back with what they have to say about our lakes up here in the north. Hey, we're up here at Smith Lake. We're working at the Bassmaster Elite Series event here. Our producer, he's at the James River in Virginia with the Bass Pro Tour, but we got the guys. We're going to talk about what's going on in our neighborhood back there at home. Tom, let's start at Guntersville. What's going on?
I'll tell you, Dano, I don't know. Is it hot where you're at? Because it's a little toasty up this way, here in Guntersville. I mean, if right now, guys, I think the black lights are coming out. We're going to start changing up little tactics and stuff like that. It's time to get out there and do a little night fishing. But if you are still going out during the day, I think the best, obviously the best bite's going to be very early and late in the day. But that early bite, catching some fish on a swim bait right now, not so much a plastic one, but a hard swim bait, mostly on the outsides of those grass lines. So when you see the grass where it's starting to mat up there on the flats, on the deeper sides of those flats is where we're starting to see those fish. You can also catch one on a jig. That's been kind of a jig, a worm, a speed worm has been catching a lot of fish as well. But, you just got to kind of hunt and poke around and then take it as long as you can and then hit the house. But stay hydrated for sure. Get out there at night, throw that spinnerbait. I think you're going to be surprised at what you find out.
What kind of spinnerbait are you throwing at night? Are you throwing them thumper spinnerbaits, or are you throwing a tandem double willow type deal?
I like to throw I won't tell you the color, but I like to throw a big old thumper swim bait or spinnerbait. You got me all flustered now. I like to throw that big old thumper spinnerbait, but I do like to put a big heavy trailer on it, something like a pocket crawl or something like that, rage crawl, anything that's just got a whole lot of thump to it. But it's just a matter of throwing it out there and being real steady. The grass can make it kind of a difficult deal, especially at night when you don't see where you're casting to, Dano. But, it's the best way to really rock some fish in the boat. And, man, it's just a lot of fun.
Night fishing's a blast, especially when you can use that black light and that, that fluorescent line. What line do you typically throw at night?
I'll be honest with you, Dan. I'm not big on fluorescent line. I still throw fluorocarbon. I just use the lights that I can. You're not really fishing around banks. You're not worried about throwing up into the trees. So if I got enough light that I can see the edge of that grass or see some of those patches that are floating down the river, that's really all I need. I mean, you waste a few casts, of course, but I just don't like to change up and use that. I don't like mono personally, but it just doesn't seem to really affect the night fishing, especially on Guntersville. Now, get around some trees, things like that, I think you'd probably be in a little bit of hurt.
Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. I think we need to go night fishing soon. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man. We'll talk to you, Dano. Y'all have a good one. Tight lines out there.
Hey, we're checking in with Gentry Gordy, our Lower Alabama expert. Gentry, let's talk Lake Martin. I'm sure it's bumpy out there.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the weekend, Dano, but people still going to go. I'll touch a little bit on what Tom said, and I've said it the last few weeks, especially, more so Martin than Jordan, but really and truly your night bite up there is going to be better than anything. But your early morning, your top water plug, and late in the afternoon, and really and truly the late in the afternoon even to me seems better the way this moon phase is going right now. But as it starts to heat up, it's still just a big worm and a ball and chain out off some of them deeper drops. And I keep a little minnow, Demiki rig type thing tied up in case I see them. I just don't like, staring at it that long. But if I see them, of course, I'll throw to them. But just some known places where them rock points drop off into some of the ledges out there. Just drag a big shaky head, big worm, and the old ball and chain.
What kind of setup do you like on that Carolina rig? How heavy of a weight are you throwing? Leader length, that kind of stuff?
I do. I still do 1 ounce. There's, especially in the heat of the summer, I just 1 ounce because I'm throwing it deep. I do about 2 foot leader, and I truly like a speed worm more than anything on there.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's turn our attention to Jordan Lake. I know we get some current going through there that makes it a little bit more predictable maybe, but it can't be easy.
No, it's not. Yeah, not at all. Especially in this heat, but it's not a lot's changed. I mean, the water's gotten warmer. They're going to be either up under them thick mats with a big weight, just off the edge of them in the morning. There's a lot of main lake docks on Jordan that's got some deep water around them, and those are the ones I'm going to target this time of year with a jig. The back of the pockets, all those docks back in there that's a foot or two, they're stagnant to me this time of year. But, I still throw the Carolina rig, the hair jig, and the big crankbait up there. So I'll send long tapered points when they fall off into that river. And another thing is look at the north side, the upriver side of those long points. Those are going to be your cleaner sides. So your current comes down, it washes the front side of them long tapered points, makes a little more of a hard bottom. So it seems to target that a little bit more than anything.
I know this isn't your style, but somebody could live up there like a troll under the bridge and probably do okay up there, couldn't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Damn. Well, folks, be safe out there. It's lumpy and bumpy out there with all the boat traffic. Thanks, Gentry. Appreciate everything. We'll talk to you next week, brother. Hey, we got Lee Pitts. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Let's talk Weiss right now, because that's where you live. What's going on up there?
Home pond's looking pretty good right now. We finally had a little bit of a break, about midweek with a little cooler weather, a little bit of cloud cover. So Weiss is a little low right now, so that grass bite is a kind of short-lived deal. It's a early morning thing, buzz bait, spinner bait, some kind of top water. But once that sun comes up over the trees, you better be backing out. Wood cover docks have been real good. And it's a slow deal. It's just one of those things, putting it in there where they live, looking for the docks that have some kind of brush on them, and then backing out too off these longer points, main river channels, things like that with some stumps. The key to Weiss has been looking for wood cover. Once they back out of that grass pretty quick, you really need to start getting out there and finding some either laydowns, the long tips of some of these log jams upriver, and just kind of slowing down with something that you can find those fish just holding in those eddy spots.
What depth are you looking at for that wood, Lee?
We got a multiple of things. It's Weiss, Neely, most of our Coosa lakes, you can catch fish shallow year round. Mid-morning, 2 to 4 feet. And even through the day, you're still looking at some of that shallow wood. And then we're looking at some of that 10, 12, 14-foot drops off the river channel, the brush tops out there, and some old submerged stumps and things like that. Once you get that current flowing, I try not to get back out on that river until I get some movement, till I get that current, moving around that same position, those fish, where you can catch them off that deeper structure.
We'll touch on Neely Henry real quick. We did a live with Wes Logan, Blake and I, as a preview to Fish Fest, and man, we caught some flipping fish on that buckshot D-bomb. That was fun. They were in the grass in 1.5 to 2 foot of water. That was a blast. What are you hearing else out there?
That right there, that's the thing. When you get them rolling up there, and the current also helps it, that those fish down at Neely, they really like to stay in that grass. It's a little bit thicker grass than what we've got here at Weiss. The thicker clump seems to really hold them better, and they feel comfortable in it. They can roll up in there in that shallow water, and they don't have to chase anything or run anything down. And it's just like they can just sit there in their carport waiting for somebody to throw a piece of pizza to them.
Only you, Lee. Only you. Brother, we appreciate everything. You have a great day up there. I'd say stay cool, but that's just not likely. Have a great weekend, bro.
I can stay fat, but I can't stay cool.
I always say I can't take enough clothes off to cool off. That's just the way it's going. Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you.
Hey, all of our usual suspects and some of our fill-in guys are buried up at work right now, can't really get to us, so we gathered some information for you on Logan Martin and Lay Lake, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you the best that we can, what's going on over there. I've been fishing Neely Henry a little bit, getting ready for Fish Fest there at Bucks Island, but I've got some good information from some good reliable sources. Here's what we have going on over there. Logan Martin, if you're a spotted bass fisherman, guess what? You kind of need to move yourself out there onto the main river. Those spotted bass have started to move out. They're kind of schooling out there, not necessarily schooling on the surface, but they are out on bait. If you have forward-facing sonar, it's a really good time to get out there and learn some of that kind of stuff. Look for offshore rock piles, offshore stumps, any kind of cover that's near the river channel. Those fish are going to be near there. If the current picks up, you might be able to catch them on a crankbait. You might be able to even catch them on some of that shallower ledge stuff with the jerk bait or something like that. But a shaky head, a jig, that kind of stuff is going to be really good for you. Even some around some of that, deeper stuff, maybe a drop shot rig. Of course, if you're sonar fishing with that forward-facing sonar, you want some sort of a jig head minnow type of a deal. That Tato Designs Maverick head is really good, paired with a tiny fluke or something like that would be really, really good. I personally like a Missile Baits Spunk Shad, a 3-inch one off the back of that thing. That's a really good bait for that forward-facing sonar. Largemouth can still be had around the grass a little bit. It's going to have to be main lake grass on Logan Martin. And then just be careful out there. Tough time to be out there fishing. It's hot. There's a lot of boat traffic out there, so do it in the morning and then get yourself off the water. You might still be able to catch a few. Lay Lake, there's a frog bite that started up, what I'm being told by Justin Elliott. That first third of the creeks around the grass, you should be able to catch yourself some decent frog fish. I would slow down with that bait a little bit. Don't try to move it too fast. Kind of make it hover around those grass clumps. You'll find those largemouth sitting there. The water's going to be hot. You might be able to flip a few of them. Start with a heavier weight. See if they respond to that heavier weight, that 5/8 or maybe up to 3/4 with your creature bait. Jig's probably going to be just a little bit too much of a slow fall for them right now. But the creature bait's probably going to be the best deal. Start heavy. If they don't trigger on that when it hits the bottom, go light. Or if they're up suspended in the water column, you may even have to go all the way down to a 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 3/16, something like that to be able to get the fall that you need. Other than that, folks, timber out there, you might still find some stripe and some spotted bass out there. But thanks for tuning in this week to the Bucks Island Area Fishing Report. We'll be back again to give you some more information next week. Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 29th. Thanks to all of you for spending the time with us, and especially those of you that came to Fish Fest and got to see all the guys and eat all the food and spend all the time with the vendors. It was very much appreciated. It was a successful event. Best part of it is we get to see you guys. Our favorite part of being in business at Bucks Island is taking care of you, the customer. Thanks for spending the time with us. We appreciate your trust. We'll be back again next week with more fishing reports.